friends, hi, how are we? Don't mind the messy hair, just woke up and didn't brush it. So, today, also hi, sorry I haven't posted in a while. I was really sick last week. I had a fever, I had a really bad cough, which I still kind of have. It's less so. I was like a really wet cough where it's like it just kept going. Like if I laughed, it would just cause a cough attack. And then I had just like full body aches. I was going from like really cold to like really hot, back and forth. I was like sweating all night. But now I'm better. Kinda. So I thought, I don't know what possessed me when I was sick. I'll tell you too. This sickness, I didn't have COVID. I didn't have walking pneumonia. I didn't have the flu. It made me feel like I had COVID. Like when I had COVID, my like mental functioning was not at its highest performance, if that makes sense. And I still feel like I am stupid. Like the sickness just made me like dumb, you know? So in that sick haze, I decided to paint moldy strawberries. And I think they turned out really cute. Like really cute. I put like sparkles in the mold and stuff. I don't know. So we're gonna paint more moldy stuff. If I feel like I have to say this, I don't know. I think mold is cool. Like not on your food to eat, but like it looks cool. So, and here's my Roni. Roni. So chunky and bony. He'll always be in my heart. Huh, Roni? Okay. So we'll paint some. I already started. We're done. Okay, we're just gonna paint. Love you guys. Friends, hi. You made it to the voiceover portion. Good job, you did it. Sorry it's been a while, but I thought, here we go, let's do this. So I'm gonna read some Reddit stories from Charlotte Dobray's Charlotte Dobre YouTube /Reddit. Okay, here we go. My boss's boss had me under surveillance at work, but I moved in the shadows and outsmarted him. Also, my iPad is so cracked right now, so if it seems like I'm having a hard time reading, it's because it's so cracked I am having a hard time reading. Okay, here we go. I need to watch because at some point I will talk in the video and I need to not... Okay, anyways, just don't listen to me anymore. Listen, but don't. I, 47 female, have had a very cool career. I largely work as a performer and arts production manager, which I love. I don't want to be obnoxious, but my resume sparkles. I worked very hard to reach where I am, and I am excellent at what I do. I frequently get contracted for freelance work from organizations across the U.S. and have been brought back to previous jobs for short-term contract positions or to fill in when they are between hires, period. In 2022, I had to abruptly leave the workforce because of a sudden disability, and I wasn't able to return to work for 2.5 years. When I did return, I took the first thing I could find, which was an 8-to-5 office job, still adjacent to my field of expertise, but much more stringent than I was used to. I was nervous, but I adapted quickly and found ways to embrace the routine and faceless bureaucracy of the environment. I did really struggle with some serious micromanagement and this bizarre entitlement to the staff's time, sudden change schedules, last-minute expectations that we'd work 12-hour days and then comp the time the next month, last-minute added evening hours when I already had gigs and then needed to take PTO, extra jobs far beyond the scope of other duties as assigned, just general stuff like that. Obnoxious, but this isn't a forever job and I'm relatively easygoing, so I put up with it. I live in constant pain, which may or may not be permanent, but I've learned to live with it, kind of like a mosquito in a tent. The easiest way to manage this during the day is to get up a few times a day and take short walks. It keeps things loose, and the injection of endorphins is a natural pain reliever. I didn't think this would be an issue at work. Everyone gets up a couple of times a day to move around, right? Incorrect. I was getting up maybe twice a day and doing about 6 to 7 minutes a laps around my building. sometimes indoors, sometimes outdoors, and then going back to my desk. I never missed any responsibilities or dropped the ball, and I always made sure to get up and move when I was between important tasks. You know, because I'm a professional who can manage both my workflow and my personal needs. My boss, let's call her Mary, called me into a meeting one day to say that her boss's boss, let's call him Daniel, and his boss, somebody's boss's boss's boss, let's call him Bob, neither of whom I had never seen or met, that was in all caps, said that they had seen me and that I was not allowed to get up and walk. One said wow, my iPad. She doesn't, okay. One said, if she doesn't have anything to do, she needs to find something out to do. Okay, Daniel, how about I do your job since you have time to worry about my walking habits? Turns out they wanted me sitting by my phone at all times in case someone needed me. Fine, I don't have the energy to argue with my boss. I said, no problem, this is an easy fix, thank you for the feedback, and immediately planned my moves in the shadows. The next day, I rearranged my calendar. We get 1 hour for lunch daily, and then 1 hour set aside for admin tasks. I split my lunch and admin blocks into one 30-minute block and two 15-minute blocks. This meant that instead of 30 minutes of notes in the morning or an hour at lunch, this crack is just killing me. If you could see it, there's when I scroll down, there's just one crack that's even worse than the rest, and it's it's screwing with me eyeballs. Okay, I split my lunch and admin blocks into one 30-minute block and two 15-minute blocks. This meant that instead of 30 minutes of notes in the morning and an hour lunch and then 30 minutes of admin in the afternoon, I had 30 afternoon. Whoa. I had 30 minutes in the morning, 15 for a walk, 15 for notes, 30 minutes for lunch, and then the same 15 walk/notes in the afternoon. My calendar was identical to before, and I wasn't using any personal time to walk. It was all borrowed for my lunch hour. Reasonable, right? Incorrect again. My boss showed up at the door the next week, looking like Cruella de Vil, with wide eyes and frazzled hair, and said, you have to change your schedule. You can only take a 1 hour lunch all at once. I asked, okay, why? She replied, because Daniel said so, all in caps. Okay, no problem. Thank you for letting me know. I'll make the adjustment immediately. And with that, the shadows got even darker. Ooh. I immediately contacted my spine surgeon, my pain management doctor, my pain management doctor's PA, and all three of my physical therapists. I had all of them write letters stating that I had to be allowed to get up 2 to 3 times per day separate from lunch for 10 to 15-minute walks at a time. Then I scheduled a meeting with the VP of HR and brought the letters and disability accommodations paperwork. Already completed, should I have done this initially? In hindsight, yes, but never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I'd need accommodations to get up and walk around. Within 2 weeks, I'd met the disability coordinator who said, we think we've come up with a plan. Why don't you break up your lunch into shorter times across the day so you can take walks all you need? Girl, you mean exactly like I put on my calendar a month ago. She already knew I'd done that previously, so she smirked and said yes, and now you have it in writing. Also, I get up about twice a day to walk for 15 minutes. Sigh. So now my calendar is split up exactly as I'd done it a month ago, and Mary, Daniel, and Bob are left holding their hats. I still never met or spoke to Daniel and only recently learned who he is from a colleague, and Bob now goes out of his way to be sickeningly sweet to me every time he sees me. Now that the weather is warming up, will I try to take my walks outside? ? For sure. Will I still make a point to get in some indoor walks around the building so all three of them see me walking by? Absolutely. Well, I'd say that was kind of weird. That was a weird one. Why does it matter if she's getting her work done and she needs it? And then when they got caught and HR was like, no, they're like, oh shoot, let me be really nice to her to make up for it. That's weird, y'all. That's weird. You never know what people are going through, and I have to say that to myself. I'll be at work and maybe someone's being rude or whatever, I have to think back like, oh, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe it's not about me. It's not about me because I didn't do nothing to you. And it's on you, you know? So, you know, everyone's going through. That doesn't excuse bad behavior though, okay? That doesn't excuse it, but just keep in mind, like, we're all adults, you know? Things can happen. Okay, so I'm gonna say this too. So I have like 3 chunks in my video where I will be speaking, and we're about to stop at this first chunk, and then I'm gonna, behind the scenes, look for another Reddit story to read. I wish there was a lot more funny ones, you know? So yeah, this one, yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, I will leave you guys in silence for maybe about 4-ish minutes. And no, I should talk. Okay. As you can tell, I haven't done this in a little bit, so, I was sick. I went to Catalina. My roommate got in a bad motorcycle accident. He's okay, but there's a lot of things, and then my sister's visiting. She just left yesterday, and she's coming back. She's doing work down here. But yeah, it's been a lot, and then I feel like I'm also kind of dropping the ball a bit in the art situation. I don't know. I just feel like I paint a lot of the same things over and over, and I think it's starting to maybe get to me, and I also feel like I should be doing certain things to promote my art better, and I'm not, and I feel like I'm being lazy, and I just have dropped the ball, but, like, I know that's not true. I know I'm on the right path, and that everything will happen when it happens, and it'll all be okay in the end. So my goal is to hopefully, I'm going to try and make a catalog of, like, my products, and then walk around La Jolla and wear a pretty dress or something and be nice and try and get my stuff into stores. So we'll see. But that's the plan. And then also finishing my cat dog pet portrait poster that I've made myself do. If I don't give myself, like, tasks or projects to work on, I don't know what to do with my time. So I always have to have something I'm, like, moving towards, if you know what I mean. So, like, right now as well, I'm trying to combine sea glass that I've found from the beach over all the years that I've lived here, and combine that into my art, because I love sea glass and I think it's so beautiful, and I have jars of it, and it's like, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? So, time to drink a cup of coffee. Except it's cold, and now it tastes just like milk. Okay, I'll be back.
Okay. Once this situation dries, I'm being lazy. I could go put the hairdryer on it, but I don't want to. We're gonna use the Daniel Smith watercolor ground in titanium white, and we're gonna add the like moldy bits. It adds cute texture. So I'll show you up close. You can see that there's texture to it. And that's what we want to add. So it makes it look 3D and moldy. Okay? Okay.
Okay, y'all, this one's a long one, so here we go. And I have my sticky note next to me to remember when to shut up. Okay. AITA, we all know, am I the a-hole for not changing my bachelorette party location so my sister-in-law can attend. Ooh, spicy. Okay, here we go. I, 27 female, and my fiance, 28 male, have decided to start planning our wedding for 2026. We've been engaged since 2023, and honestly, life has just been hard, and we've been trying to get financially secure before having our wedding. Same girl. I've already been married before, and it was a courthouse wedding. My fiance has never been married before, so we're both pretty set on having an actual wedding where both of our families can attend. Same. Yes. We've been together 7 years this coming Halloween, and 5 of the 7 years we lived with his brother, his wife, and their growing family. They went from 0 kids to basically a football team within 4 years. What is a football team to you? Because you know what? That's fine. Okay. My brother-in-law, let's call him Mike, and his wife, let's call her Katie, are in the bridal party as a groomsman and bridesmaid. Mike is Mike is very stuck in his own ways and very narcissistic. If it's not his way, it's not happening. No benefit to him, doesn't happen. Everything is his. Nothing was ours. And Katie, deep down, I don't believe is like that, but I believe Mike has rubbed off on her and she's just adapted. No good. I know a lot about narcissism. It's not good. If you guys are, like, wondering, like, there's a really cool psychologist. Her name's Dr. Ramani, and she talks a lot about narcissism because I have a couple of those in my household. Not living with me, but in my family. So we're not going to name names, but yeah. Okay, here we go. We finally get out on our own, and we're growing our family. My son 9 from my previous marriage, and the son 1 we have together. He proposed in September of 2023 after spending his last dollar on my ring, and then life happened and we just haven't gotten around to planning until recently. They had a situation happen where they lost everything except their car and furniture. So them and their 4 children, 14 male, 5 male, 4 female, and 1 female, moved in with us for 6 months. We didn't charge rent, we didn't ask for much, we even paid some of the bills sometimes to help out more. They cleaned every day and used their food stamps to fill the house with food. And in the midst of their crisis and living with us for free, they thought it would be a good idea to get pregnant again. One day, I sit down in my living room with Mike, Katie, and my fiance, and we're talking about the wedding and the bridal party, who is going to do what and stand where, etc. My 2 best friends are obviously bridesmaids. Katie speaks up and says, I don't care as long as bridesmaid 2 doesn't walk with Mike. I don't like her. He can walk with bridesmaid 1. Why don't you guys walk together? If you guys are married, I don't know. Well, it's not their wedding, so they can't decide. I didn't like that she started up telling me who I can have where in my wedding, and honestly, the way things lined up, Mike was going to be walking with bridesmaid 2. It wasn't intentional, but I'm not changing my wedding plans to make her more comfortable. Mike was and is still upset with my fiance for not making him best man and is now refusing to give a speech at the wedding or participate in any planning of the bachelor party, donating any money, or just helping in any way at all. Nice. A couple months later, I get with my maid of honor and we're planning my bachelorette party in town in Tennessee. None of us have money really like that, so I find it easier to just be part of the planning to help budget and keep things cheap but fun. Small Airbnb, a couple small bars, dancing, and small shopping day. The trip itself is 2 nights. My brother-in-law comes up to me one day and says, "Why are you having your bachelorette trip there? You know Katie isn't allowed to go there because of our history. She feels excluded and like you guys aren't really friends because of it. You should change location," and gave me a list of locations his wife is allowed to go to. Why? What do you mean your wife isn't allowed to go there? Did she get kicked out of town? Like, I don't understand. Or is it you? Are you the one that's like, my wife's not allowed to go there because there's a guy that used to like her and he lives there and I don't even want her. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, keep reading. For context, these two tried to control every aspect of my wedding. Who stands where, who wears what, where the wedding is. Mike even trying to turn my wedding day into a music video shoot. Since we have the property rented, we should just use it to its full extent before we leave the end of the night. I said, I don't understand why you don't want her going, the cracks. I said, I understand why you don't want her going there, but I really don't see how she considers us friends. He looked angry and asked me what I was talking about. Ooh, we're getting into the real nitty-gritty here. I proceeded to bring up all the time she took my clothes without ever returning them, and I asked, and if she's seen me wearing something of hers, she'd throw a tantrum until I took it off. How she always spills my business to everyone who will listen. How she tells me I need to submit to my fiance and have as many babies as he wants me to have. And how when we work together, I gotta plug my phone in. Hold on 1 second. It's gonna die. It's on its verge of death. Here you go, phone. Feel better? Okay, much better. Okay. He tells me, okay. How she tells me I need to submit to my fiance and have as many babies as you want to have, and how when we worked together, any day I wasn't there, she would talk about how much money I owed them. Oh my gosh, small problem. I forgot that my charger uses too much power, and so it puts a notification up and stops everything that's happening. So the phone might die, phone might not die. Who knows? We'll see. Okay. Where did it cut off? So how much they would work, and she would talk about how much money I owed them, talk about talk bad about my parenting and how she didn't like me and couldn't wait until I was out of her house for good. He said regardless of that, I should be considerate and change the location of my bachelorette so she can attend. No, it's not her day. More context. We live 2 hours away from my family and 2 hours away from my fiance's family. Most of my bridal party will not be attending my bachelorette for the reason due to work and kids. My bachelorette party is going to be me, my maid of honor, one other bridesmaid, and just a couple friends that live in the same town as us. I told him their history is not my problem, and I'm not ruining my good time and rearranging my whole wedding for them. It's my wedding, and I will have who I want, where I want them, and will have my bachelorette where I want to have it, especially considering I'm paying for most of it. He shut up about it that night, but periodically kept bringing it back up and trying to make me change it around to accommodate them, but I keep refusing, and my fiance refuses also, telling me to do what I want to do and not worry about anyone else. At this point, I'm ready to not even have her as a bridesmaid. She's only a bridesmaid out of obligation anyway, to be honest. Plus, my fiance has 8 groomsmen, and I only have 7 bridesmaids. I want my wedding to be aesthetically pleasing, so she's basically a filler anyways. That should tell you something. But for the sake of my sanity, I am willing to take the title away from her to remove any more obligations to include her in my bachelorette. To add, I'm not having it where it's planned to exclude her in any way, shape, or form. I just never been to the town it's in and have heard great things. She grew up in the town over from it, so they are very close to each other. So am I the a-hole for saying no, or should I conform and change my party location? Edit to add. Some background on how these two are. My 1-year-old and their 1-year-old share a birthday. Note, because of divine intervention, not because of divine intervention, but because when they learned my fiance and I were trying for a baby, they also started trying. They took over my gender reveal to have their own, took over my baby shower to have their own, as well as turned my son's first birthday party into a birthday party for their own. Mind you, the only guest at their celebration was my family and my fiance only, not anyone from their family, not any of their friends. My due date was Christmas and hers was before about a week, so they scheduled their induction date for my due date. Once they seen I wasn't in labor yet, intentionally missed their appointment and waited until I went into labor before going to their OB and being induced on the same day, giving birth 5 hours after me. That's really weird. That's really, really strange. It's not just about them trying to control or determine what happens on my wedding day. It's about them refusing to let anyone else have attention anywhere and making sure it's about them every day, all day. Every day, all day is everything they do. Small update. After reading a bunch of comments, I spoke with my fiance about taking them out of the wedding and just having them be guests instead. He said he will do whatever I need him to do to be more comfortable and confident in my wedding. We will be speaking with them today and about the change. We'll add another update after we talk to them. Ooh. My update and extra details as well to answer any questions. Yay. My fiance and I spoke with them about everything and decided it would be best they did not participate in the wedding. We told them we would gladly still have them as guests, but any title of groomsman or bridesmaid was being taken due to obvious issues. They both got livid with us and began cursing and yelling at us, telling us how they deserve to be in our wedding and they won't come if they don't have their titles. We told them it was up to them whether or not they come, but not changing our minds. After more yelling, we left and have not heard from them. Wow, I can't talk anymore and have not heard from them at all. Mother-in-law and father-in-law have called us to tell us they agree with our decision and to ignore anything coming from bride-in-law and his wife. It just says BIL, so I don't know. Add answers to and to answer questions. 1, she is not allowed in this town because she has a history of cheating on him with men she went to school with. Oh, crap. 2, when I said nobody from their family showed up to the baby shower and gender reveal, I meant her family. Nobody from her side showed up, and the people that did show up were only prepared for a baby shower/gender reveal for us. But when they wow, I really can't talk. But when they arrived, they showed up in a dress with mom-to-be sash, and they both flipped their lid when they realized nobody got them anything. Obviously, because it wasn't the plan ever. Oh, okay, got it. The 14-year-old is from BIL, previous relationship he somehow gained custody of. 4, they no longer live with us and haven't for about a month now. We had some issues with our landlord at our previous home, which caused us to have to move, and magically finding that out, they found a place to live and moved within a week. Okay. I don't think any of the rest is all that important to the story. That's really weird, y'all. Some people are not good with not having the attention being on them, and so they cause, stress to that's just not okay. That's just not okay. That's sad. You can't, especially that whole baby thing. You missed your appointment to have your baby because she didn't have her baby yet, and you wanted to have that day be that's so strange. I think there's something really wrong with you guys. Not that they're ever gonna hear it, but they were so nice to you. They let you stay in their home, and you guys just took advantage of them, and was really weird. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. We have one more after this short intermission. And yeah, see you in a sec. Hi friends. So by the time you get to this portion of the video, it's been a week and a half since I actually filmed what you just watched. So let me just backtrack.
You just watched Rotten Tomatoes and cherries and strawberries get painted. Now is a new day. I'm not sick anymore. I still have a cough, but that's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. So today I need to get going on stuff. I haven't painted in like forever. I just got back from Catalina with my mom and my friend, who's also my coworker. And I was, oh shoot, that was a work message. So, where was I? Oh yeah, I need to get stuff done. So I'm gonna tell you guys what I need to get done, and then maybe that'll manifest me into doing it. So I need to paint more stuff for the art gallery, in Fallbrook. I need to, finish my pet portrait poster that I'm designing, and I'm gonna hang around the way and stuff. I need to also figure out how to make prints, because my brain likes to complicate things way more than they should be. So my problem is I don't like scanning my work. I like taking photos of it and then getting it done. But because I like taking photos of it, I'm not good at that. I have to wait for a cloudy day, take the photo myself. My hands are shaking along with it, so it's like blurry. And then once I transfer it to my iPad and then transfer it over to whatever, it was like Nelson's photography or something, it was blurry. Like it compared to like, so whatever happens from my phone to my iPad, it like lessens the quality of it. So I need to figure that out. So I think this time around though, I'm going to try and scan some stuff at my local printer down the street from me and see how that goes. So I'm gonna have to forego putting sparkles on until the end, which sucks. So we're gonna do that. And then what else do I need to do? I don't know. Other stuff. I wrote down a whole list and left it at work. I left it at work. So yeah, okay, so we're gonna paint like a fig. That sounded weird, that sounded dumb. I'll show you the fig we're gonna paint. And it's gonna be like kind of cute and sparkly. And then I'll add that to the video, and then that'll be posted. Oh my God, today's Wednesday. Next Wednesday. But by the time you guys are seeing this, it'll be like a month of me not posting, and I'm so sorry. I was really sick. My roommate got into a really bad motorcycle accident. He's okay. And then we're just dealing with a bunch of other stuff. And then my sister's coming into town, so there's a lot going on, like a lot. And part of me doesn't even want to do this. Like I not like this in general, but like I need to do laundry. I need to like clean. I need to like work out or something, but I've been so lazy and I don't want to. And like the old me, this is gonna be a long intro. The old me would freaking wake up at 6 a.m., run to the cross from my parents' house, run back, and like I was eating so healthy, and now I've just let that go. And I need to not let that go. Nala, my lady. So anyways, okay, let's paint a fig. Okay, bye, I love you guys.
Okay, pray for me that I can read properly, because I read the first one pretty good, then we got a little iffy down there in the middle, and then now this is the last one, so just pray for me. Okay, here we go. Am I the a-hole for leaving my husband over video games? And that was in quotes, the video game part. Okay, this is a little bit of a long one. Okay, wait, let me move my iPad a little closer. I, 25 female, and my soon-to-be ex, husband 28 male, got married November of 2021, and at the time, 20 female and 23 male. We dated for 3 months, engaged for 1 month, and then married. Fast, I know, fully regret it now. However, because he was in the military and was deployed soon after we got married, I stayed home until May of 2022 when he got back. At first, everything was great. I was floating around off a cloud nine. I was floating on cloud nine, I'd say. I had moved out of state for the first time, but was less than 8 hours from home, so it wasn't that big of a deal to see family. I was also told that I didn't have to worry to find a job soon, so I could get used to living here, and that he would make enough to support me. He wanted out of the barracks and have a wife and settle down. However, things started shifting only a few months later. I'd always talked about wanting to get into the gym and working out. He was in full support of it, but being away from home really put me in a funk. And the lack of friends to socialize with and no job and being home by myself throughout the day had me really lonely and homesick. I play video games with my friends from back... Wait a second. What? Am I just not good at reading anymore? Because I thought this was the wife talking. Okay, but she plays video games. Okay. However, things started shifting only a few months later. I'd always talked about wanting to get into... I would play video games with my friends from back home as often as I could, but it didn't take care of it, so my interest in going to the gym wasn't very high. Then came the comments. When are you going to start looking for a job? When are you going to start going to the gym? I think you should try to start going to the gym. And more along the same lines. This was only a few months of me being there. I was cleaning the entire house bigger than what 2 people with no kids needed, all by myself with no help from him aside from making the place messier. He helped unload the U-Haul, but I unpacked everything, set up my couch, bed, TV, the kitchen, bathrooms, and bedrooms. He would constantly leave his work clothes anywhere but the hamper, not take out the trash when I asked him to, leaving me to deal with it days later, and hardly wanted to spend quality time with me. But what he did want to do... What? But what did he want to do? Immediately come home from work and play video games on his expensive computer. Sorry, my reading is not too good. He was there all the time. At any point while he was home, you could have walked into my house and he would have been in a separate room playing games. He would come home during his lunch break and he would eat and play with the door shut. The second he got home and out of the shower, he would get on and he would play through dinner after I brought it to him, and then he would eat and then play late into the night and not come to bed with me. I'd also mentioned how I wanted to have kids before we got married, and he said he did too, but after I moved there, he started to change his mind and said he wanted to wait 10 years before having kids. Wait 10 years? There's only so long the female body is able to have children, buddy. Okay. This is when the resentment started growing. I had multiple conversations with him, crying to him about how I felt unappreciated and unloved and treated like nothing more than a maid he slept with. Oh, okay. A roommate, to which I only ever got, but you're my wife and I do love you. I would try and tell him the things I needed. I told him about love languages and how mine are physical touch and quality time, that spending time with him was important to me, or home holding my hand in public made me feel safe. Okay. It never changed anything longer than a few days. We got a cat that we both said we wanted, but it became my responsibility because, quote, you wanted a cat, so you're going to have to take care of it. Meanwhile, he got to play and love on it. I had to do the cleanups, the feeding, taking it to the vet, and everything else. Meanwhile, he was only ever loyal to his video games and his online friends. Not to say he wasn't loyal to me, but I felt like something was off. The only time I felt like I got him to myself was while we were intimate, and for a while that wasn't a lot. After about a year, he brought up opening our relationship to have another female to have blank to spend time with, and as young as a 21-year-old and not realizing anything. And as a young 21-year-old and not realizing anything, I hesitantly agreed, but nothing ever came of it. When I would ask him why he thought it was necessary to do so, asking if he loved me enough or if just me alone wasn't good enough, he said, well, I know some people from work who do it and their marriage is good, so I thought it would be a good thing to try. That never sat right with me. Then the comments continued about my weight. Yes, I gained about 30 pounds while being with him, going from 135 to 165. I was also coming off of birth control, and I wasn't as active as I had been, and I've suspected to have a thyroid issue that was never able to be solved. The comments that hurt me the most were, we need to get you back to your high school weight. You were so cute back then. Trigger warning. Sorry, there's some topics that it's not even a bad topic. I'm always worried about saying certain things that might hurt you guys listening as well, because it could be something that maybe someone else is dealing with as well, and I don't want to bring it up. And but so, trigger warning, she had an eating disorder when she graduated high school. From there on, the body image of myself that I already had was good for me, but the fact that my own husband wanted me smaller made me hate myself even more. He forgot our anniversary, the 2 years I stayed with him, and had to remind him of Valentine's Day. He would spend all of his money that he made on his video games after I got groceries for the 2 weeks. I was drowning in a marriage that I was starting to hate, and with no way of getting help or getting out, it seemed. He used my car to get to work, so I was left alone with no way to pay transportation aside from walking. I started babysitting the last year I lived with him from our home. Wait, what? I started babysitting the last year I lived with him from our home. Either the little one I watched was dropped off in the morning, or I would pick up a couple's kids from the bus stop near my house, watch them until the parents got off work. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was my own earned money since nowhere else was getting back to me on a job. This is where I'm probably the a-hole. I got in contact with an ex of mine from high school. We were strictly friends as he was off doing his own thing and with someone else at the time. We played video games together since my husband thought he was too good for the games that him and I could play together. After a while, I realized that I still had feelings for my ex, and then he confessed he still had strong feelings for me, and he was seeing other people because I was married now. We confessed our feelings to each other over text, and I didn't tell my husband. My ex lived on the other side of the country at the time, so I hadn't seen him before I left my husband. After we confessed our feelings, I started sleeping on the couch and not in bed with my husband, usually staying up late and using the excuse of I was too tired to come to bed, so I just fell asleep on the couch. I would stay up and talk to my ex, and we would chat throughout the day. This only lasted for a couple months, but I broke it off with my ex for a month to give him space on if he was actually serious about me, since sometimes it didn't feel like it. After a month of trying to rekindle something with my husband, realizing it wasn't going to work, I texted him and realized just how long that month really was, and he was serious. This was December before I left. I went home for Christmas by myself. My husband didn't want to pack and complained about going, but I was tired of being away from family. I had already made plans for that holiday. At that point, I didn't care if he came with me or not. I spent 3 weeks at home and came back. I never saw my ex at home. I came back to my husband's house and decided to get into a hobby that was just weird. I feel like I'm not doing too good. I'm not doing too hot reading right now. I never saw my ex at home. I came back to my husband's house and he decided to get into a hobby that was just weird. I tried to support it, but let's just say he wanted to play dress up in the opposite gender that he had never expressed before. Okay. It's all good. This crack is killing me. This isn't me hating on people who do this, but my husband had never given any reason for me to think he was into that. I also found a random tank top in my laundry hamper when I got back from vacation that wasn't mine. He never said anything about it, even when I asked him. I guess he also had a suspicion because at the end of January, he decided to try to get into my iPhone to check the time, but saw a message from my ex and flipped his shite early in the morning while I was on the couch. I left the next morning in January 2024, taking my 2 cats with me and some of my belongings. It's now March of 2026. I'm finally getting divorced from him. I don't miss him, and I'm happily with my ex, and we have a baby now. I don't regret my decision, but I wonder for someone else's point of view, am I the a-hole for leaving him and not feeling bad for it? I don't think you're an a-hole because you tried and you mentioned to him your feelings, and it seemed like he listened for like a moment and then said, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go back to my video games. That's not good. I don't condone cheating. I do not. I think it's best if you are unhappy in your relationship, you say it before starting a new relationship or continuing an old one. I just think don't go to their level, just because they're not treating you the way you want to be treated or deserve to be treated doesn't mean you should lower yourself, Not saying, it's just not nice, you know? I'm happy it did work out for you two in the end, and that you're happier now and you have a baby on the way, and that's awesome. But yeah, that's not too gooder, my friend. I'm so sorry. So, anyways, I'm proud of myself for reading out loud. I think I'm not the best reader, like, aloud. I read all the time to myself in my head, but to read it out loud, I don't know. Anyways, I hope y'all liked the video. I know it's kind of different. Why does it look like I'm not moving? I'm scared. Is there something wrong? Okay, I thought it all went to the crapper because the video, I used CapCut and I can see that the bottom line where I'm recording the voiceover is working, but then the video part was paused and I was like, oh crap, here we go again. I don't know if any of y'all remember when I first started my YouTube channel how difficult the editing situation was for me. Like, it didn't occur to me that, like, I'd do a voiceover, and let's say it was, at the time, my phone didn't have that much storage space on it, so I'd have to condense it for it to even download onto my phone off of CapCut. And then my dumb butt would delete portions, and then my voiceover would, like, be on top of me talking and, like, anyways, shout out to, like, 3 years on YouTube now. I think this is my 3rd year. Thank you, all of you who have been there from the beginning, from the middle, from this last few months. Thank you for joining the community. I hope you like the swamp, and I hope you enjoy your time here. I think I need more coffee. I don't know. We'll see. So, don't forget to like and... Okay, I know there's like a couple minutes left. I'm so sorry. I'm going to leave you guys in a little bit of silence just because I need to get out of my room and out of my bed because I feel like I'm being lazy even though I'm doing something, and I just need to get up and move around. Okay, love you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to be notified, and if all goes well, every other Wednesday will be upload days. Wednesday's title's full of woe. Okay, bye.